So a pleasant morning to each and everyone. I am Frechel Hernan and I am going to be your topic presenter for today. So our topic for today is all about operant conditioning theory by Boris Friedrich Skinner. So Boris is born on March 20, 1904. He is an American psychologist, inventor, social philosopher, and a major proponent of behaviorism. He was also an Edgar Pierce Professor at Harvard University, known for his theory operant conditioning. So he believed in a stimulus response pattern of conditioned behavior. His theory zeroed in only one changes observable in the mind. So Skinner's 1848 book, Holden 2, is about a utopian society based on operant conditioning. So he also wrote Science and Human Behavior, in which he pointed out how the principles of operant conditioning function in social institutions such as government, law, religion, economics, and education. So Skinner's work differs from the three behaviorism before him in that he studied operant behavior. So thus his theory came to be known as operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is based upon the notion that learning is a result of change in overt behavior. So change in behavior are the result of an individual response for events that occurs in the environment. So a response produces a consequences, such as defining a word, hitting a ball, or solving a math problem. So when a particular stimulus response pattern is reinforced, the individual is conditioned to respond. So operant conditioning is a type of learning where behaviors are modified by their consequences. Actions that lead to positive outcomes or reinforcement are more likely to be repeated, while actions that lead to negative outcomes are less likely to be repeated. So now let us talk about reinforcement. So it is the key element of Skinner's SR theory. A reinforcement is anything that strengthens the desired response. So there are two types of reinforcer, a positive reinforcer and a negative reinforcer. So let us first talk what is a positive reinforcer. So a positive reinforcer is any stimulus that is given or added to increase a response. So it is something you add or give to make someone wants to do something more often. It is about adding something good to encourage such behavior. So next is negative reinforcer. So it is any stimulus that results in the increased frequency of a response when it is withdrawn or removed. So a negative reinforcer is not a punishment, in fact it is a reward. So it means taking away something bad to make a behavior happen more often. Let us talk about shaping of behavior. So it is a method used to train a subject to perform a specific behavior by rewarding successive approximations of the desired behavior. So it is a technique used in Skinner's operant conditioning to teach a new behavior by rewarding successive approximations towards the desired behavior. So breaking down the desired behavior into smaller achievable steps and rewarding each step as it gets closer to the target behavior. So instead of waiting for the exact behavior to occur, so you reward small steps that gradually resemble the final goal. So in behavioral chaining, it is a method used to teach a complex behavior by breaking it down into smaller discrete steps or links. So each step is learned and performed in sequence, so with each step serving as a cue for the next step. So big task is being broken down into smaller steps. So each step is learned one at a time in order and serves as a cue for the next step to happen. So ultimately leading to the completion of the entire chain. So reinforcement schedule. So once the desired behavioral response is accomplished, reinforcement does not have to be 100% done. So in fact, it can be maintained more successfully through what Skinner referred to as partial reinforcement schedules. So once a desired behavioral response has been acquired, continuous reinforcement is not necessary for the maintenance of that behavior. So in fact, the principle suggests that behavior can be sustained more effectively through the implementation of partial reinforcement schedules. So, this approach, as noted by Skinner, involves reinforcing a behavior indiscriminately rather than consistently, so which leads to greater resistance to extinction. Let us talk about the two-interval schedule. So first is the fixed interval schedule. So the target response is reinforced after the fixed amount of time that has been passed since the last reinforcement. So example, the bird in a cage is given food every 10 minutes, regardless of how many times it presses the bar. So in fixed internal schedule, reinforcement is given for the first response after a specific amount of time has been passed. So this schedule creates a pattern where responses tend to increase as the end of the interval approaches. So as the individual learns that the response will be rewarded every after the fixed time. Next is variable interval schedule. So this is similar to fixed interval schedule, but the amount of time that must possess between reinforcement varies. So the reinforcement given after a specific number of responses have been made. So this schedule typically produces a high rate of responding with a brief pause after reinforcement. So for example, a factory worker who is paid for every 10 items they produce under a fixed ratio schedule, so resulting in a steady output of work followed by a short breaks. Fixed ratio schedule. So it is a fixed number of correct responses must occur before reinforcement may occur. So example, the bird will be given food or reinforcer every time it presses the bar 5 times. So while the variable ratio schedule is a number of correct repetition of the correct response for reinforcement varies. So this response produces a high and steady rate of responding with no predictable process because the individual never know when the response will be reinforced. So they tend to respond consistently. So for example, a bird is given food after it presses the bar 3 times, then after 10 times, then after 14 times. So the bird will not be able to predict how many times it needs to press the bar before it gets its food. So now, we are done with the different reinforcement of Skinner's operant conditioning theory. Again, I am Frechel Hernan, your topic presenter.